Hi everyone, welcome to Soulprint Intuitive Tarot. So, Rockstar Jerry is heading back to his home now. He'll probably, maybe you'll see him around Christmas. I'm going to try to do a Christmas pet parade. We'll see how that goes. So he just wanted to say goodbye. He wanted to say thank you for all of the lovely compliments and comments. He's pretty sure that for everyone he should get a treat. Uncha. Yeah. Do you want to take a look and say goodbye to your people? Yeah? It's a good boy. You're such a handsome little rock star, aren't you? You're so handsome. Okay. Alrighty, bud. Say bye to your adoring fans. Good boy. Go have a nap. Okay. Here we go. Okay. So, there's like a lot of frustration with Merrick Garland. You know, I think that after kind of the horrendous way that the Department of Justice was run under the Trump administration, people really wanted somebody to come in there and kind of be at the opposite end of the spectrum, kind of the way, you know, if it was a pendulum, it swung really hard this way for Trump, and now everybody wants it to swing really hard that way, you know, for Biden, and get everything that went wrong in that administration fixed and erased, and so it can never ever happen again. The problem is that really, what you want the pendulum to do is find center, okay? And honestly, I energetically, that's just where it should be, okay? So I think what's happening is you have, you know, and I read something that said that he's a brilliant, like, scholar. He should have been a judge. But he's not really great at, you know, being really firm and kind of just really on top, you know, not on top of, but really, you know, pushing to ensure that, you know, everything is kind of to the max, all right? Now, make no mistake, energetically, he is going to end up, honestly, it feels like in some ways almost like going after people that really he doesn't want to, but recognizes that he needs to, or he needs to get the department to do so. And I know it's frustrating. I get it. And I mean, you've got Democrats who are yelling and screaming for him to be replaced. And you have Joe Biden, who, true to his word, whether we like it or not, is not interfering in the Justice Department. And you know what? Again, that sounded great when Trump was doing nothing but interfering in the Justice Department. But now in reality, people are upset because, you know, he's not doing it fast enough or harsh enough or, you know, whatever it is, right? And a little while ago, Biden was asked if the people that took part in the insurrection should be jailed. And Biden said, yes, they should. I do believe that they should be. And apparently, not in the days of Trump, but before that. That kind of a statement could actually really have upended something, right? Because it was then, you know, if the Justice Department went ahead and kind of did what agreed with the president, then, you know, it was seen as doing the president's bidding, right? So that's sort of the situation. Now, I want to and I'm not making excuses for him. I'm just kind of telling you what the energy is as I'm stepping into it and floating around in it. So I want to do a bit more of, but I think this time, instead of focusing exactly on Merrick Garland only, I want to focus on the Department of Justice, the United States Department of Justice, and see if that maybe gives us some clarity to, what's going on in there. Come on down. I have a question. Okay, one more quick little shuffle. And here we go. United States Department of Justice and Garland. United States Department of Justice and Garland. United States Department of Justice and Garland. Yeah. Okay. So there is a little bit of that kind of sense of sort of like rock and hard place, right? He is trying to create a balance. And frankly, it looks like as a result, he is having to do a great deal of soul searching. You also have, I want to say, people in the Department of Justice who, of course, had been part of the Department of Justice for a really long time, certainly much longer than Merrick Garland. And they, they are working from instinct, almost just from that years of accumulation, and you just know that kind of thing. And while there is not friction within the department per se, there has not yet been kind of a really solid melding, if you will, between Garland and the people that work under him. He feels trapped. Okay, like he feels like, and part of it is I think his training as a judge, right? I mean, when you go into court, I don't know because I've never been dragged into court, but if you go into court and, it is your first defense, right? It would seem to me, unless apparently you're black, the judge tends to, and for that I am sorry that is what it is, and hopefully that is going to change. But the judge is most likely to look for the minimum sentence, okay? That whole idea of first defense, give him a chance to clean up his act, whatever it is, right? And so there is that part of him that sort of almost automatically, particularly with the insurrectionists, is sort of looking to keep the charges more, low key, and he doesn't want everybody, and he doesn't have that kind of mentality of they're a traitor, and hang them, right? So he's having a hard time, right? Because on the one hand, he recognizes that what they did when they stormed the Capitol was really wrong. What Trump did with elections, really wrong. What's going on with Bannon and him ignoring that subpoena, really wrong. But there is also a part of him that really is trying to walk, it looks like sort of a fine line. Now, there is an abundance of wisdom, of knowledge, of resources that are coming into play and that are going to help start moving this whole process along. And it feels as if there is going to be good legal news coming. And by that, I mean, good news in terms of people who should really feel the sword of law, coming after them. Okay, so it looks like there's going to be, and look at the horse. It's reluctant to cross that stream, despite the fact that there's good news, and so there is that sense of, he moves so ploddingly, and he doesn't need to move that slow. The damn river is not that deep. He's not going to drown. But, you can't remake somebody's personality, okay? He is not concerned about how he is viewed. Like, he really isn't. He is far more concerned that he does those things that frankly bring the world or the states, the country, to I guess I want to say almost like a better state of harmony, okay? That's part of what motivates him. The partnership between, the people who work at the department and him, you can anticipate that coming closer to, kind of that blending that I was talking about. It is a sense that things are going to start moving a little bit more clearly and carefully, and he's going to start getting the information that he needs that is going to allow him to start moving forward and making decisions, just a little bit more rapidly, okay? Because this dragging thing is really hard. And there are times that, I'm sorry, there are some things he's going to walk away from. Some stuff that, for reasons that maybe make sense or don't make sense to us, there are some things he's not going to pursue. But there are other things that he is really, really going to bat for, and that his people are really, really out there pushing for and finding the information for. And ultimately, he is going to be viewed with, with respect. But it definitely looks like it's going to be, I think I said this before with regards to him, it's a really steep learning curve for him. Right? It really is. It's like he has to change kind of the fundamental and basic way that he thinks about things, and the rules that or the standards that he uses to apply, because again, he is coming from the judiciary, which is not the same as the Department of Justice. They may work hand in hand, but they don't. The mindset and the rules are not the same. But look, I mean, he's got the Nine of Pentacles. He's got the Nine of Cups here. He has cards that clearly indicate that things are going to start moving forward, and they're going to move forward in a way where people are going to be more pleased with him. All right? But again, do not expect that he is going to go after everybody sort of to the maximum. And, for those that are frustrated, I really ask you to kind of keep the example of a pendulum in mind, all right? That's where you want it to be. And even though there is incredible frustration and things aren't happening fast enough, and there are some people, honest to God, you just want, you want the book thrown at them, and then you want them tossed in jail, and then you want somebody to toss the key to the bottom of the sea. When it really comes down to it, it is the center that you're looking for. because we already witnessed what really insane stuff can happen when it swung so far right that it was vengeance. You know, vengeance mind say Trump. And he used the Justice Department for exactly that end. And everybody allowed him to get away with it. And when people didn't, he fired them, or he got rid of them, up to and including Bill Barr, who, you know, mysteriously left a handful of weeks before the change in power, because I don't know, I guess he wants to spend more time with his family. So, you know, in some ways, it's time for some soul searching, time for some clarity, and honestly, and it's time for things not to be kept in shadow. It's time for more daylight, so you can see what's going on. You have the law, and there is this sort of return to kind of normalcy. And frankly, not everything was so great when it was normal before. And some things really do need to change and shift. That can't happen if the pendulum swings so far to the left that, you know, and you know, it's interesting because if you really think about it, you know, I guess I want to say the ideals of the left are really not that, you know, throw him in jail and throw away the key attitude. It is more about redemption and, you know, helping people get back on their feet again. But because some of the stuff that happened was so egregious and such an insult, just not to the people, but literally to the psyche of the country, you know, there really is a little bit of, you know, vengeance. You know, people just want these people to be dealt with in the harshest manner possible. And ultimately, there will be success in that. But I'm telling you, it's not going to be the success that everybody wants. Because honestly, right now, there needs to be a calming of emotions. There needs to be a calming of people, you know, just of people being so angry and so hurt and feeling so betrayed. And those are all valid. I make no mistake. Very often the sun, you know, talks about exposure. This talks about success. This talks about accomplishing the bigger goal. And as far as Trump is concerned, as I've been reading this, I keep sort of hearing the states will deal with him. New York, Georgia, wherever the heck else he's in trouble. They're going to deal with him. And yes, a lot of them are civil, but there are some that are going to become, you know, more criminal. They are going to, that is where he is going to get hit the hardest. Okay? Because I want you to just take a moment and think about it this way. So let's say Trump gets nailed to the wall, and let's say he gets thrown in jail. He's a martyr now. He's a martyr. And you have all those people who were now, never mind kissing his butt, they're bowing down and kneeling. He's going to get what's coming to him, not only here, but in the afterlife. But honestly, and I'm not saying that the Department of Justice or Garland are not going to go after him, but what I'm saying is it feels more like some of the biggest hurt is actually going to come from those other kind of charges, because they're the ones that are going to cost him money. And he's going to ride. I mean, interesting. Look at this. You've got the King of Cups and the King of Wands. So his message Trump's message is going to be to keep on firing up those people who follow him blindly. Now, the fact that ultimately that's what happens, that's part of this success. But a lot of these swords, you know, and I have to tell you, this doesn't only represent him. This represents a lot of people who, you know, should be and haven't been yet, and people are frustrated. But the swords are different situations, different lawsuits, different people. Okay? You know, a long, long time ago, one of my very first videos, I talked about death by 1,000 cuts. I maintain that is exactly how not only Trump is going to go down, but a lot of other people are going to go down. It's going to be, you know, little cuts, little cuts, little cuts until, you know, there's no blood left. Merrick Garland, above all else, wants the institution to be respected. He wants it to regain its respect and its standards. And it feels that that is part of the reason why when he actually goes after someone, it's going to be a slow process. It's going to be a methodical process because he wants, not only for him, but he wants, you know, the people who are going to court, the people who are bringing these charges, he wants it to be above reproach. Because that is what the country needs. The country needs to know that once again, that part of the government is functioning independently. You know, he wants to hang on to the good, but he wants a new way, almost like a new attitude, a new approach. He wants to rebuild. He wants to make it strong again, as opposed to, you know, what we witnessed happening. And he will. And some people, you know, they're going to use all levers of the law. They're going to do what they do when they go after somebody. It's going to be, you know, almost like flawless. There's not going to be any holes. And yes, some people are going to get left out, and that's going to frustrate people. But sometimes you're better off to go after the big fishes and kind of let some of the little fishes swim, especially if some of those little fishes are talking. But ultimately, I think you're going to see, you know, a sense of peace and respect returning to the department. And make no mistake, they're working hard. They're working their butts off. They're not slacking, okay? They're working, and they're working hard. But what they're putting together is almost, you know, impenetrable. Ultimately, law wins. It just does. And it moves forward. And there is a return to governing that makes sense. And there you have it. Okay. So, I don't know if that frustrates you or encourages you. I don't know if it's helpful. I hope it is, right? I hope that there can be a little bit of clarity when it comes to finding center. You know, and remember, that was part of why Joe Biden's run for president was successful, was because he stood center. And in doing that, he was able to draw kind of from both sides, if you will. And while center incrementally is moving more and more left, it's still center. And you know what? In 15 years from now, in 25 years from now, you're going to look at what is center, and by today's standards, it is extreme left. It takes time, people. It takes time. All right. It is the weekend. Enjoy the weekend. Again, thank you so much to my new subscribers. All of it is brilliant, and I'm so grateful for it. Two quick messages. Don't forget that on Saturday morning, the Pick Your Crystal readings come out. So for those of you who are interested in those weekly crystal readings, look for that tomorrow morning. And for those looking for private readings, there's information in the description box below. You just need to send me sort of a quick message, and I will send back to you the information that you need in order to go ahead. Okay, so that's what I know. Enjoy the weekend, get some rest, do something fun, and know that ultimately it's going to be fine, and it's going to work out. Okay? Until next time, take care. Be well. We'll see you really soon. Bye-bye.